Hi powerful creators, today is Tapping 101 day and I have 3 important things to tell you about tapping. There's 3 things that I want you to remember. The first one is keep it simple. Okay, so there's 4 places to tap in Fast EFT. There's between the eyes, side of the eye, yeah, in the hollow bone there, under the eye, just under the collarbone. 4 places, and then we take a big deep breath and we grab our wrist and say peace. Give your wrist a bit of squeeze. There's 14 meridian points in that in your wrist. Okay, so that is how it goes. Now you can do it like by rubbing your face. You can do it like this. I listen to my fingers. And I sometimes you can just do the collarbone point if that works for you. Do something that works for you and something that you are going to use. Okay, so that's pretty well it as far as the tapping, actually how to do it. So how long do you have to do it for? Well, it depends on the feeling. If you've got like a really big trigger, then you may have to do it for a long time. I have tapped for 20 minutes. As Robert Smith says, you know, tap until it's gone or tap until you pass out. He is actually joking. But he's basically saying just keep tapping. All right, but for the purposes of us busy mums and dads and people with businesses and all the people in my challenge that have busy lives, I like to teach you that you need to make it simple for yourself so that you can fit it into your day somewhere. So even if you just do some in the morning when you wake up, if you start going into, oh, what's going to happen today, and you start thinking of any of the problems, you know, you can just do tapping on that and letting it go. So I want you to get into the habit of using it. Maybe when you're in the car, like I'll often just tap on my collarbone in the car because I don't want everyone seeing me do this, or I'll do this in the car, you know. So that's what I do in my daily life, but mostly I have used it around triggers. So if I'm triggered by my kids or by my husband, or you know, when my in-laws come to stay and that's a really good thing to do because you will notice that you just don't get triggered by the same things anymore. So it's a really good you know, it really shows you how well the tapping works. So the second thing, the first one was simplicity. The second thing to remember is that you must aim at the feeling. Okay, so when you feel the feeling, you're aiming at the feeling. So if you're driving along, you're going to something and you start to get a bit nervous or a bit anxious, or you've got a lot of stuff to do and you start going into overwhelm, any of those feelings, I want you to, you know, sit with those feelings, notice those feelings, acknowledge those feelings. Because when people get tapping wrong and they say, oh, it doesn't work for me, that's often because they're just sort of doing it. Now this will do something, but they're not really going into the feeling first. That's mainly why it doesn't work for people. So I want you to go into the feeling first, sit with the feeling, acknowledge the feeling, and then do the tapping. That's really, really, really important. Now, if you're triggered, again, like if something, someone, or some experience, or just something you read triggers you, then you can tap then as well. And I really, really encourage you to tap then. Now, you are not going to want to tap then. If you're really, really triggered by something, that's when you normally want to slam doors and walk off. And all those things. So, or, you know, get mad. So the blood is actually running out of your prefrontal cortex at this stage. You need to understand that, and that's why you don't want to tap. It's actually a physiological response. But if you tap at that time, you are going to make massive changes in your life. Because those triggers, I can tell you, and if you've been watching Teal Swan, she explains it beautifully. She says they are a rope back to your past. You know, that they are connected to that little 4-year-old child. So that's why you want to slam a door or get angry or cry or do whatever you, you know, it just comes up normally if you're really triggered. So I would really, really encourage you in that time to either, if you can, get yourself away from the situation, go into the bathroom and tap. I have done tapping for 20 minutes to, you know, release an issue that had a high emotional charge because it was my childhood stuff coming up. Okay, and if you have enough time, you can go into that and ask yourself, when did this start, you know, and you can start going in and consoling the child and doing that. But for the purposes of this video, I'll just keep it more to just using tapping every day in your life and not going so deep into that stuff. We'll have an opportunity to do that in future parts of this challenge. So, but you can do whatever you want in your mind, and you know, you've done sessions with me now and you've seen how we go in and console the inner child, and we can tap with her, acknowledge how she feels, tap with her or him. Okay, so that's number 2. You have to aim at the feeling, right? Keep it simple, aim at the feeling. And number 3 is understand that whenever you go into you have a feeling in your body, or you're, you know, catastrophizing, going into a problem, there's something that you've thought of up here that has made that happen, and that's what we call going into a hypnotic trance. So you're in a hypnotic trance, and that means that you're not present anymore. You're not realizing that you're sitting on a chair. You're not realizing that maybe you're outside in the beautiful sunshine. Your brain is somewhere else. Your mind is somewhere else, I should say, thinking about something else. And so and if it sees things in there, then it's actually there, because the unconscious does not know, or the mind does not know the difference between what's real and imagined. So it's going there and going into trance. And so it's really important to understand that, because when you're tapping, you want to be getting yourself out of trance. You want to be understanding you're in trance, that you're not here in the present anymore, because in the present you are actually safe. You're okay. So and this again relates massively to triggers. If you're really triggered, you actually do feel like the other person or the situation or the experience is actually what's causing it. You know? But it's not. It's your 4-year-old self that's, or whatever age this thing happened to you, is what's causing it, and you've just got a rope line back to it. And so if you can tap, then this will make a massive difference to your life. So I encourage you to really do that. So keep it simple. When you get triggered, or when you just have feelings, aim at those feelings. Aim at those feelings. Or if it's a knowing, just this knowing, it may not be a strong feeling, it might just be a knowing. Well, aim at the knowing. How do you know that you have, you know, this problem? Okay, just aim at the knowing and then tap on that. All right? And then take a big deep breath, blow it away, and then check and see if it's still there. This is how I do it. I just keep checking each round to see if it's still there. Is it still there? Yes, I can still feel a little bit in my stomach. So, okay, so I feel that feeling in my stomach, and then I'm tapping again. And I feel my fingers tapping. Feel my fingers tapping. I listen to them tapping, that really helps me. Take a big deep breath. Blow it away, grab my wrist, squeeze it, peace. I say peace. I just say let it go, let it go. That's all I say. Sometimes I say, Ilka, you're in a trance, get out of trance, you know, let it go. You can really keep that simple too, guys. Just let it go, it's fine. And then just notice again, aim at the feeling again. Notice if it's still there. No, it's gone. Yay! So that's how it works. I really encourage you to ask me more questions if I haven't covered something that you wanted to know in this video, all right? But that's how I use tapping, and that's how I use it in my life. I just kind of tap on things as they come up. If I've got time in the morning, if I've got time in the car, I'll tap then. I tap on triggers. If triggers come up, I really do try and tap on those. Okay? So I do tap on those. I really don't mind who's around anymore. I just do it. And, oh, I nearly forgot. You can do mental tapping, which means that you just notice that you're tapping here. So I like feel the feeling, but then you actually just notice that your fingers are tapping there. Then notice that they're tapping there. Then notice that they're tapping there. And you're doing it all mentally. So you can do that as well, and that's very effective too. So there's no excuse to not do it. and it works. All right, so there we go. Tapping 101, guys. Ask me questions if I haven't covered something that you think. Thank you. Keep tapping. Create miracles.